Hi, everyone. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host, Louisa. Today is Saturday, October 5th, 2019. And we're bringing a special GoldFish report to you tonight. It's our 394th. I know I said that in the last one. The last one was actually the 393rd, but so I'm correcting it. This is the 394th GoldFish report. And again, joining me is our Comm decoder, Greg Hamilton. A beautiful day, Patriots United on Twitter. Thanks for joining me, Greg.
Glad to be here, and thanks for calling.
You know, Greg and I were chatting tonight, and we thought it was important that we come to, to the video tonight and put a report out, because we started seeing some, okay, this is how it unfolds. I start talking about Intel, and suddenly Greg just says, well, I just posted about that, and I just posted about that, and this is how it unfolds. And so this is what happened tonight. We just think we wanted to bring it to our viewers so that you can take a look at what's happening here and decide for yourself. So Greg, as we were talking tonight, I'm going to screen share this article that came out today. And I think that Field McConnell also talked about it as well. This is Marines military news. So this is the official website of the United States Marine Corps. And here's a notice on here. Okay, I want everybody to take a look at this, and I know that you can all see it. Manpower guidance for activation and deactivation of reserve component RC Marines ordered to active duty ISO Defense Support of Civil Authorities. So basically, this is manpower guidance for activation and deactivation of reserve component Marines ordered to active duty for defense of civil authorities. So this is like if the president has an emergency, has a in the event of a national disaster or some kind of national emergency. This is where the president would call out his reserves, and this is in fact what it looks like. This is obviously what has happened. And you know, you can go to this website and take a look for yourself. It does show the codes, the U.S. code where the president's authorized to do this, the military's authorized to do what they're doing. So all of the logistics are in there. So what's happening? What's coming up? And I'm going to screen share Greg's Twitter page, as we talked about in our interview the other day. And by the way, thank you to all our viewers who have watched that interview. It was a long interview, but it was so packed with so much information. And trust me, that's short compared to the amount of pre-interview time Greg and I spent preparing for it. Isn't that right, Greg? But right now I'm screening. Yeah, hours. I mean, long hours, exactly. What I'm doing right now is I'm screen sharing your Twitter page because I want you to go ahead and talk about this first tweet, because it is talking about military intelligence. So, you know, folks, Greg?
Well, I've noticed that my tweets in the last few days have been coming up with the National Guard, and this is one thing. But what I want to point out is that there's so many other decoders that are out there that are doing their thing, and they all are doing the same thing. All their tweets are lining up on National Guard type Q drops since the first of the month. We're in the fourth day of the month, and it just doesn't seem to stop. Everybody's getting, all the decoders across Twitter just seem to keep lining up about this. Everybody's feeling it. We're in a red October, possibly.
Right.
The news is getting very intense between the two parties, and we can see that it looks like a powder keg happening, and that's why we're here. And we'll see what you want to add to this.
Yeah, this is, I was just trying to take a closer look at the zoom in on the
you want to look at the Q drop itself. Let's do that. I'm looking at, okay. And so this is Q drop.
Yeah, see what it's saying?
316.
No, I'm talking, well, 755
yes.
was the one I'm sorry, was the first one.
That's okay. I'm right there. I'm with you.
So go ahead.
Let me get there.
Military Intelligence Team, Military Intelligence Battalion. Look, folks, this is, Greg, is this a comm or is this a coincidence? What do you think?
Well, they all are comms to me now because they just keep lining up. And so it's I don't want to sound scared, or but there's a lot going on right now. We know that, as I'm going to steal your line here, Elisa, is you were saying that we all know POTUS Trump is going to do a national emergency when the time comes. No one knows for sure when that is,
Right.
but if it seems like it's becoming soon, or if it's coming up, there's no reason not to have a few days worth of water and food and extra doggy food and everything a little prepared. Not paranoia, but it's just smart for any purpose.
No, it's a good point, and you're right. When the president tested the presidential emergency alert system, it was for for good reason. And so, if something is to happen, the president will notify all of us. So there's really nothing to worry about. Really, the Patriots are in control. Isn't that what Q always says, Greg?
Absolutely. And we are the Patriots now, and we are on the street level Patriots. We've all gone through our boot camp training, anyone that's following Q, and we've all graduated, and now we are the soldiers, and we're going to keep everybody informed as the confusion happens when it does.
Let's scroll up. I'm going to scroll up to the very next tweet that you tweeted today. To save the Republic, it's talking about truth, John McCain to remain buried for stability of USA. As we talked about in our interview, Greg, there's going to be a lot that's not going to be made public, not by our government. It could be made public through other sources, but it may not. Right? And here you're talking about this. And so what's happening is, we have been reporting, I've been reporting for quite a while about military tribunals. I haven't heard anything more about it because the press hasn't been permitted to go down there, or it's been reported that very few people have been able to go down there. We also
Guantanamo Bay is what you're referring to, I'm sure,
to Guantanamo Bay, where supposedly, now I'm hearing some of these military tribunals are actually being held in the DC area, not necessarily in, they could certainly be, a defendant can be close-circuited.
Well, wouldn't that be that makes sense to me as you say that, because that would be the actual safest place in the world, because that's where President Trump and the vice president is. So they're going to have the most coverage over anybody else at this particular moment. So if you're going to try to have a high level criminal, it makes sense that they would be under that same dome. I like the thought process that you just took me to.
And I also saw a report today that Court TV is going to be making a return. So the timing of all this, folks, is getting very interesting. And let me just explain why I think it's this interesting. Things are so crazy with the Democrats right now. It's really out of control. They have expended all of their ammunition, which was exactly Sun Tzu. I mean, it's exactly according to Sun Tzu. It's really brilliant. But the problem is they really could have done truth and reconciliation. They could have managed this a lot better for themselves. But they did, they took the path of trying to impeach the president, always, trying to say he's doing something wrong or illegal when he isn't. And what's really happening right now is that there is a coup going on. The president has, alluded to this. Other members of Congress have alluded to this. Mainstream media on Fox, at least, has alluded to the fact that there's really a coup going on at this point, and other journalists are referring to this as a present-day coup at this time, and that's very dangerous. And I do think that we should take it very seriously. I know everybody's really sick of politics, but I think we need to be, we need to see it for what it actually is. This is really a coup happening right before our eyes. The question is, will they succeed? Let's all pray for President Trump and hope that he and his family are kept completely safe, and that he acts on what he needs to act on in order to finally, arrest the criminals, the people who the traitors of this country. So, Greg, we talked about this the other day. So I'm going to screen share again your next tweet, because it's all relative. So here, okay, we just talked about this. And funny how the president tweeted, I hate to say, the BS word the other day, and here it's right here in your post. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, folks. You really can't, right? So
there's a language.
Let's go up to the next one. Some truths would not be ready for and would harm the plan. Exactly. Let's click on that. Let's take a look at what this is showing us. Ask yourself, who is trying to start a war, right? Now, ask yourself, if a missile was launched by rogue actors, what would be the purpose? Ask yourself, what would or should immediately start a war? Ask yourself, would the public understand the following statement? Rogue actors, clowns, U.S. former heads of state initiated a missile launch in order to force the U.S. into a war conflict against whatever. Now, this is your post, Greg. Did you want to say anything about that before I screen share another?
Well, as we're talking about this, and if we are watching a movie, we can and logically understand that they do have their only last resort right now is to do a coup assassination of this sort. And if that did happen, it would cause a huge bloody civil war, which is all they wanted anyways. So they have nothing to lose. They don't have anything to lose. They have, because of, they know the results. So we are in dangerous times, no matter how you want to look at it or how you want to view it. There is a lot of misinformation, and you're absolutely right. There is a very bloody moment in our American history if everything isn't played carefully, I guess.
Well, I'm going to screen share what happened in Donetsk, Ukraine, a few years ago. And I want to warn you, there will be a loud explosion sound coming. So be prepared for that with your speakers, folks, because it will be very loud. And this is what they're referring to as rogue actors and what they're capable of doing. What happened? Hold on a second. Okay, here we go. Sorry. My screens are doing all kinds of things. Now wait for that aftershock to hit. Just watch, listen to this. We all heard about this happening in Donetsk. Okay. All right, this aftershock knocked this guy over. And that was in Donetsk, and that was a few years ago. Wait, what happened? Did my, oh my goodness, hold on a second. My, oh, I see what happened. I'm going to show you another one now. Hold on, I'm going to screen share what happened 2 months ago. And I believe, and Greg, you tell me what your opinion is of this. I know you can't see it, Greg, but you can hear it, and I'm describing what's going on here.
And I've seen a few throughout the past years at different locations, and do watch you can see the sound wave.
Look at that.
Come.
That's a total, I know you can't see, this is a total nuclear explosion. And then listen to the aftershock. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and there's also video and footage of showing nuclear bombs that go under the ground over there, and these explosions were absolutely so anyways,
so that was 2
we
months
Americans
ago.
are lucky to be blind from the truth in that sense, so that we're not so afraid. But at the same time, these weapons are being used around the world as we speak.
Right. So they're trying to start a war. We've been talking about this even on our POTUS reports. Jim Fetzer has been talking about how we've been trying, or the deep state faction has been trying to start a war. And those are in my opinion, two examples of their attempts. There's probably others that aren't as well reported about. And so I think things are escalating, and I think there's nothing to be concerned. It's really just a precaution that I think people should keep their eyes open and their ears open at this time.
And I also think it's just to realize the seriousness, not to show the fear and stuff, but for you to be able to, like I say, to be able to be more informed of what's happening, so that you don't feel like you need to go down and protest on the corner, because it's already taken care of. Don't, keep yourself safe right now so that you can help others later.
And
keep your friends safe.
Right. And interesting, here's another post from today, another proof, one of your proofs, talking about Q asks CodeMonkey to increase 8chan server resources. This is very timely. I mean, it's been rumored, okay, through the grapevine, that Q is going to be coming back online. So we know that they've been working on this, and so this is a comm, right? This is a comm. According to you, Greg, this is a comm, a
Yes,
communication.
and now I
Communication.
believe,
Yeah. Hmm.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
No, I'm just saying it's a communication, not merely a coincidence. And that's really what we were talking about in our interview the other day, that these are the timestamp gap codes. These are comms. These aren't coincidences.
And that's what this Q drop is trying to show
Hmm.
the people, and they will learn this, is that the new Q board basically is the timestamp and gap code.
Hmm.
Okay, and this way everybody can still go out and read it secretly. Now, if the Q drop comes back live again, I will be shocked and surprised. I don't expect to ever see Q drops again. I've been wrong 100 million times, so I'm not going to be shocked if it does show up. But I
Okay.
believe there's already been an established communication level, and that's with the timestamp and gap code. And as
Mhm.
soon as everybody learns the timestamp and gap code, then the communications are worldwide.
Okay, because everybody remembers that when Q was posting, the posts would, always remind us future proofs past. We have to remember. We also have to remember info is necessary. So not everything in there is going to be, relevant. It certainly isn't going to be relevant at that time it's being posted because it wasn't meant to be, right?
That's correct. And what I'm able to show and prove is that this has been sanctioned by President Trump, the Q team, the military tweets constantly. But it's very hard for people that don't understand and see the language that I'm trying to show, understand that that's been authorized. They're mostly doing it just for me and the few followers that are really understanding what's happening. But we will, like I say, I'm absolutely 100% confident that this is the communication, the timestamp and gap code. It's not my channel.
Right.
It's not my tweets that are the comms. I'm just interpreting them correctly so that others can learn, so that they can do it on their own, and will never have to come back to my page or anybody else's page. We will all be professional anon diggers and actually doing the research ourselves. Like Q says, don't follow anyone. Do your own research and trust yourself.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the Q, I guess the last thing. We wanted to make this really short. We did not want to make this very long. So we'll, right here we have a Q post. We've heard that Elizabeth Warren was not happy with people, I guess, heckling her when she came out of the in the airport there. Greg, is that what was?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Well, what we're seeing though is just the boomerang again.
Yeah.
You can only push people so far into the corner, and you're allowed and tell people to tease them. But if you get teased, well, the bully rules. I don't have to explain this.
And of
The
course,
bullies, and they can't handle it themselves.
right. And even Maxine Waters, it was reported that she was complaining about people approaching her. But wasn't it Maxine Waters who actually, was inciting a crowd to literally, go and harass Trump supporters? So here, this post that I'm trying to point out here says, at some point it will not be safe for them to walk down the street. This is Q post 1832. And so, we saw John Podesta recently walking down the street in Washington, D.C. Someone had posted that. And so this is, the world is watching. This is what's happening. So, I'm sure there'll be a proof on that coming out really soon too. But I just I thought it was important that the message was really important. Today we had the news that came out, and of course we have Greg's comms, his Q-proof comms. So we wanted to bring that to your attention, and you do your own comms. You go through it and decide whether you think there's a connection there. We've done our part. And Greg, did you want to comment on that further?
No, but other than that, just God bless America, and God bless all you anons that are spending the time to do your own research by listening and following and trying to understand what's happening. So just keep up the fight, my fellow friends.
Yeah, and you know, Greg, thank you so much for coming to do this with me, because we both felt, you know, that it was a connection that we really needed to kind of get out there for people, so you can decide for yourself. Uh, we know that indictments have to be imminent at this point. We know that there are going to be arrests, and I would definitely expect some martial law. But that's not anything to be concerned about. It's only for our safety. I don't think it's anything that we personally, you know, should be concerned about. So I would just say that, you know, if this were to happen, folks, then just follow the directions, and like Greg said, get some extra water, get some extra food, some extra cash. Make sure you have, you know, your cars gassed up, just so that if there's any interruption, you know, in supply, because what the National Guard is going to be there for, if this were to happen, okay, or when, I don't think it's a matter of if, I think it's a matter of when.
Surely.
That, right, exactly, that, you know, it's just for our safety, because there are going to be some people who will probably, you know, try to riot, just because, you know, they may not like the fact that, you know, their leaders are going to be indicted for treason and sedition. But hey, you know, that's a hard pill for some people to swallow, but they're going to have to swallow it. So that's our quick QCOM decode for today, and news. And hopefully, you know, you folks can, you know, take heed to the warning, and or caution, not warning, because we don't know. I'm not predicting it's going to happen. I'm just saying that we're picking this up between the two of us. So we wanted to share it with you. And you know, hopefully, Greg, you'll be back and we'll do some more of this together, right?
Yes, this
So,
absolutely,
all right,
absolutely.
excellent. Well, everyone, you have a great night, have a great weekend, and please watch that full interview. I know it's 2 hours, but it's packed with so much info, and we've had such a great response from it, haven't we, Greg? It's been great.
I've God bless America. God bless
God
America.
bless America. It's been great. We've had a great response, and we love our viewers, and we so appreciate our viewers and everyone who helps to support the channel. So thank you, and have a great weekend. And this concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report.